Come on, Polt, what is this? You only won one of those? Where are your 3 GSL titles, man?
Well, I mean, you have guys that do that stuff. Guys like MC and MVP and Nesty that just keep on winning. I don't think we can quite put Polt in that category yet, but he's certainly very talented and he's working very, very hard these days.
And not just that, I think you were right, by the way. I think the correct name was Super Tournament, not Super Cup, so excuse me for that. But Polt is one of those guys who did give us a lot of games that you will probably remember forever, though. He's one of those Korean Terrans we see very often in foreign tournaments, and I'm sure that you guys, if you've seen it, you will never forget the series he played against Stefano at the Lone Star Clash Invitational back then in Austin, Texas. Absolutely fantastic StarCraft, really entertaining stuff, and those are the kind of games, Ben, that I never forget. And now, of course, I am a Protoss player, but it really does say a lot. Whenever I watch a series and my mouth just falls open, it's like, wow, these two guys are playing some phenomenal StarCraft.
Kevin, you always tease me for saying that Idra versus Puma at IEM China was my favorite series of all time. I think if I were to really sit down and say this is hands down the best StarCraft I've ever seen, it would be those games that Polt and Stefano played at Lone Star. Since then, there have been a lot more phenomenal, great games played, but that particular series was just incredible. Yeah,
Dongrai Go versus MMA, I believe, is still one of those finals that people have in their memory as well, and we'll never forget. Anyways, let's go ahead and introduce our players, Ben, as we have Root for Root Masa, our Canadian Terran, spawning in the left bottom side of Cloud Kingdom, opening up with a refinery. While TSL Polt is, of course, a Korean Terran, spawning on the right top side of this map, opening up with the no gas fast expand.
And Polt is going to get a good scout of Masa's base. He's going to spot that, oh, hello. Hello, gas opening. You're going to be getting aggressive. And now he just has to kind of piece it together and figure out exactly how he wants to deal with whatever it is Masa's going to throw his way.
Yeah, it's really quick, and I wouldn't be too surprised that if he's going to drop another refinery ban as soon as his Marine pops. And he, of course, cares that SCV. He doesn't want to drop the second refinery while that SCV is still here. Marine is here right now. And is Masa going for double refinery? And are we going to see cloak Banshees, or is it just going to be a single Banshee? Or maybe we are going to see some elevator Hellion play, but I think it's going to be a Banshee opening.
He is getting a tech lab, which normally I would say that's certainly going to be some kind of Banshee opening. I guess he's just going to build a starport right on that tech lab.
So it's going to be super quick.
If it's not that, then it's some kind of crazy blue flame opening, and we don't really see those anymore.
No, I'm pretty damn sure it is going to be a starport. This is a really quick one, Ben. He's not losing any time, doesn't have to switch up buildings and whatnot. So this is really quick. Double refinery is going down on the other side of this map now as well. And Polt, Ben, is playing this defensive. He's building the command center in his main base. Now we get one of those TVT scenarios where Polt is going to have slightly more workers for a little while, but Masa is most likely going to drop the command center a lot quicker on the low ground. So despite being a few workers down, he's going to be able to mine from 2 bases quicker than his opponent, so it all evens out.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this unfold so many times. At the end of the day, by 10 minutes, these two builds are going to look very, very similar. It's just a different path to getting there. Of course, there's also that whole sort of earmark that Polt has to not take damage. If he gets through this without taking any damage, he might be a little bit ahead in the worker count, maybe a little bit behind on total resources mined. Masa certainly has an opportunity, though, to do some good damage here.
Of course, that is normally that's always true, and that goes for any case. I kind of lost my point, and I want to say something very smart. I was like, wow, this is so right what I'm going to say right now, and I forgot it all. Yes, normally you say yes, Masa has to do some damage, but because his command center is such a quick follow-up, he's wow, he's even going to fake the cloak just in case the scan goes down. I kind of like that, researching the Caduceus reactor.
One of my favorite upgrades to say. Yes. I think saying Caduceus is really fun.
Caduceus. I like saying Corvette. That sounds like Corvette. It's a fast car. Oh, scan goes down.
The scan, but it's
a little unfortunate there.
Not in time to spot that upgrade. And Masa just going to dance his buildings around.
He's like, but
I'm not going to let you guess what I'm doing.
Can't touch this. La 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 la. All right, the first Banshee is going to the other side of the map. So yes, it would be awesome if Masa picks off an SCV or 2, maybe even 3. But as long as he keeps his Banshee alive, it doesn't really matter all that much, because Polt is going to be stuck on one base for a little while. That scan was brilliant, though, by Polt, because Polt right now, Ben, knows he doesn't have to worry about Cloak Banshees. It's very unlikely Cloak was done already, / impossible.
In fact, it allows Polt to make this versus Viking Kev, which is going to mean that Masa's not able to really control this natural expansion for as long as he would have had that Viking not ever come out. Only a single SCV being killed right now, but as you've already pointed out, great job by Masa of just getting down to the low ground and starting to mine. He's not ahead in workers. but he is already working on that natural. And if we look at the income tab, it's reflected there. He is bringing in more money right now than Polt is.
Despite Polt being up a few workers, he's going to have to be careful. Polt's going to fly this Viking as close as possible before getting some shots off. I love that, and this Banshee ban is going to fall.
Oh, but he might get a supply depot, and while I don't think a depot in an SCV is necessarily worth it, well, it just wasn't worth it.
Come on, man. We can make a case for this. Maybe we can mention the upgrades. That sounds smart. Nah, that was probably not totally worth it, but at least Masa had map control for a little while. He has a good idea what's going on. He saw this tech lab spinning around. I guess he saw the Marines coming in as well. He knows that Polt flew that orbital down a little bit later. And well, Stim is done already for Polt. Stim is almost done for Masa. So there's not a whole lot of variance. Actually, they're completely even.
Yeah, very, very even game. Supply is quite close. Army supply, Polt a little bit ahead as he was just kind of sitting in his base producing units. Rather than working on getting that natural up because because that Banshee was out.
Yeah, Polt has an advantage right now of 2 tanks, but by the time that he crosses the map, it's hard to imagine that that is actually going to matter. So most likely these 2 guys are just going to macro up a little bit. For the people who just tune in and missed our pre-show, Polt so far is 2-0, 4-0 in the season. Ooh.
Nice play here by Masa. Yep. Traps that Viking and picks it off.
Missed it, almost.
That at least brings back the whole resources lost tab to favor Masa a little bit. Little drop coming out for Polt now.
That's actually going to be a pretty big drop, Ben, because all of the units of Masa are way out of position. Masa is completely unaware of this drop. He's going to see it right now, but Stim is ready, and he's going to pull our SCVs. This damage is already done, and ooh, he's going to force a cancel on combat shield as well.
That is very annoying. Losing that combat shield's upgrade.
Oh, that's not the way to engage this Masa. I think Masa's going to lose a lot of Marines over here.
Yeah, he does. Polt does have to pick up and get out of there, but the Viking may shoot down the medevac, does shoot down the medevac. 3 Marines managing to get out and make it back home safely. You know, I like that exchange for Masa a little more, Kev. I mean, his combat shields was delayed, and certainly that hurts.
Polt is having the same problem right now as he was a little bit out of position. He's not going to try to force a cancel on that additional command center. He's just going to kill as many SCVs as possible. He's doing a pretty good job. Medevac will fall and these Marines will fall as well. A real eye for an eye game, Ben.
Yeah, but Masa, I think, has poked out a much larger eye. He killed 10 workers there, Kevin. And now he's 49 SCVs even to the 38 of his opponent. He's going to continue to outmine Polt. And this is translating to a pretty big supply lead, 86 supply to 70 supply. So Masa's playing very, very well here in the opening moments of this game. I think this might be a good chance, Kev, for us to make our predictions that we forgot to make at the top of the show.
Well, Ben, I actually predicted Polt to take this series, even though I'm super impressed with how Masa is playing lately. I still, I don't know, I love Polt so far, and Polt seems to be pretty that serious about making it to the finals this season in the NASL. And hey, Polt is without a doubt a fantastic term player, but he's eager for some success again, so I think he's going to take this season really seriously, and I just thought Polt was going to take it.
Polt is definitely taking this season very seriously. I talked to him not too long ago, and he was just discussing how much he's focusing on these games and this gameplay. But I'm going to root for root here, Kev. Katz has been talking up Masa in a big way. Todd swears by this guy, and I think he's a little bit of a long shot. And I recognize that certainly he's an underdog in this situation, but I do think that he can take out Polt, and I'm gonna bet on him today.
He's going to lose 2 Marines here. He's going to set up a small contain just to delay this base a little bit off Polt. Of course, the command center finished up now for Masa as well. It's not an orbital yet. The same can be said for Polt over here, though. So this is an interesting little contain. It's always risky because sometimes what I feel, Ben, is if you leave a big army, but not your entire army for too long, for a certain amount of time, on the other side for, like, let's say a little bit too long, Polt can get so many units out. He can potentially just crush this force despite great positioning by Masa. And if Masa would end up losing all those units because he has a lot of units saved up at home, that could actually backfire.
Yeah, I think you're right on with that. And as we can see, Masa's gearing up to take his own 3rd base. Polt was trying to harass it a little bit with this one very brave Marine. He's got 2 kills on him. I think those are both SCVs. No, actually, they're not SCVs.
No, he got caught, man.
Sad day. He was trying to go behind enemy lines, Kevin. It just didn't work out. Oh my goodness, Polt has managed to sneak away without Masa really realizing it.
Yeah, but oh, actually no. Masa's 2 Marines are all the way on the right side of the map. Masa has absolutely no idea what's going on. He's going to end up losing a lot of SCVs over here. Great movement by Polt.
Polt just capitalizing on the fact that Masa's whole army was committed on the other side of the map and is able to kill a lot of units. He's going to pick off this command center as well. Big plays there by Polt. Masa now has only really one choice, and that's to try and... there are a lot of tanks over here. This is very interesting. He's going to elevate her right up into the main base.
But he's dropping the tanks right in range of the siege. He's taking quite some damage right now. Polt doing a pretty good job so far in defending it. Yes, he is going to take a lot of damage, but there's another tank over here in the main.
Polt just continues to attack. Now he's going to take out the natural of Masa. Masa has no units back at home, and while Polt is doing that, he's also cleaning up the push up in his main base. Supply-wise, it's looking so close, Kevin. 107 supply to 107 supply.
Oh, tanks are not siege right now. One tank is so low on HP, but Polt is not going to pick it off. He's losing a lot of Marines. Of course, Polt still has a ton of Marines on the other side of the map.
Yeah, just overwhelming numbers of Marines inside the main base of Masa. But my goodness, if you just look at the supplies, it seems so close. But nope, Masa realizing that his position is much worse than that of Polt's does tap out. Man, crazy game. Army supply at the end of that game was 36, army supply to 60. So I guess Masa just had a ton of extra workers.
Yeah, he saved most of his workers.
Yeah, he was about almost 20 workers ahead.
58 workers on one base. Ben, I've learned from under-restricted videos, it's oversaturation.
Yes, it is. It is substantial oversaturation, Kev. Game number 1 going to Polt, and he's looking really, really strong. So all of a sudden, I'm a little bit worried about my prediction.
I think Polt played a really good game there, Ben. Just really smart movement, spotting that army right there. He can do two things: either bump his head into it, or just not really sure. And instead, he scanned. He knew that he could go out there. He also had a small scout with that Marine on the right bottom side. And Masa just for 1 second lost glimpse of that army, and before you know it, it shows up at your third base. And
it was just really good positional play by Polt. He does take game number 1 in that first game. Brought to you guys by Epson Projectors, the world's #1 projector brand. Go check them out at epson.com/projectors and order your Epson projector today. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2, Masa versus Polt, when we return.